Imagine you just open your eyes, but you don't see the familiar plaster of your bedroom ceiling.
Right.
You don't see the soft glow of your phone charger or your desk chair.
Yeah.
Instead, you look up, and the sky is just completely sliced in half by this 50-meter-tall monolithic wall of cold, weathered stone.
Oh, wow.
And you look down at your hands, and they're trembling. You don't have any secret magical powers.
No cheat codes.
Exactly. You don't possess, like, superhuman reflexes or some hidden bloodline that makes you a warrior. You are completely, terrifyingly ordinary. Just a nameless face in a crowd of displaced refugees.
People who probably don't even know where their next meal is coming from.
Yeah, exactly. And then the air grows impossibly hot. The ground beneath you drops violently. And over the crest of that 50-meter wall, this massive, skinless, steaming hand grips the stone.
It's just the absolute ultimate nightmare.
Right. Two eyes just burning with a mindless, devastating hunger look down at you.
It's complete and paralyzing vulnerability.
Yeah. I mean, it's the iconic opening of Attack on Titan. But we're doing a deep dive today into some really fascinating source material. An excerpt titled, Beyond the Walls, Overcoming the Titan of Comfort.
Which is such a brilliant premise.
It really is. And the mission of this deep dive isn't to just, analyze the plot of an anime or a manga. The source material uses this exact nightmare to diagnose a sickness in our own modern psychology.
Because if you think you're safe right now just because you're hiding behind the walls of your daily routine, well,
The text argues you're actually living in the most dangerous illusion of your life.
it's a brilliant mirror to hold up to the listener. Because we watch these apocalyptic stories, right?
Right.
And we feel this comfortable distance from the terror.
Oh, for sure.
But the psychological architecture of that walled city is, like, identical to the way most people construct their lives today.
I love that you brought up how we watch it, because we all play this little ego game, don't we, when we consume stories like this?
Oh, massive mental projection.
Exactly. We watch the show and automatically assume, oh yeah, if I were there, I'd be Captain Levi.
Just doing cool flips.
Right. Slicing the nape of a titan, looking incredibly cool.
Yeah.
We never imagine ourselves as the terrified background characters.
Never.
Let's strip away the ego for a second.
Yeah.
Realistically, you and I wouldn't be wearing the heroic green cape of the Survey Corps.
No, we'd be part of that chaotic, screaming mass of people sprinting toward the inner gate.
Yeah, we'd be paralyzed in a dark alleyway somewhere, just praying the nightmare would stop.
Exactly. And to understand the psychological stakes the source is trying to highlight, you really have to look at the world before that wall fell.
Okay, set the scene for us.
So for 100 years, the citizens of Paradise Island lived in a state of absolute uninterrupted stagnation.
Just totally stuck.
Right. They looked at those massive walls and essentially said, well, we have food, we have shelter, why would anyone ever want to go outside?
Because outside is where the monsters live.
Exactly. Outside is death. So they willingly traded human curiosity and true freedom and their own immense potential for this warm, cozy blanket of absolute certainty.
And we look at those citizens from the comfort of our couches and we judge them, right?
Oh, totally.
And we think, what a bunch of cowards. How can you live like cattle in a pen just waiting around?
But the text challenges you, the listener, to take a really hard look at your own life. Because, aren't we doing the exact same thing?
Yeah. I want you to look around your bedroom or your office right now. What is that room, if not a 6x6 fortress you've built to keep the unpredictable world out?
It's a highly controlled environment designed to just eliminate all friction.
Right.
Modern society has given the survival mechanism a very polite, very clinical name. We call it the comfort zone.
The comfort zone.
Yeah. But to understand why we are so eager to lock ourselves in these cages, we really have to look at the evolutionary architecture of the brain itself.
Okay, let's get into the biology of it.
So, in cognitive psychology, there is a fundamental, unyielding rule about human behavior. And it's this: your brain does not care about your happiness.
Oh, that is always such a brutal reality check to hear out loud.
It really is, but it's essential to understand. Your brain does not care about your grand dreams or your financial freedom.
Or your desire to write a novel.
Right, or your goal to get in shape. Your brain operates on biological software that is hundreds of thousands of years old.
And what's the goal of that software?
It has exactly one evolutionary mandate: conserve calories and keep you alive long enough to pass on your genes. That is it.
Wow.
Back in the Pleistocene epoch, if you stepped out of the safety of the cave into the unknown forest, you were incredibly likely to be eaten by a predator.
Or freeze to death.
Or get exiled from your tribe. The unknown literally equaled death. Therefore, the brain developed this massive, overpowering psychological defense mechanism to keep you inside the cave.
Okay, wait, really? I mean, I get that stepping into the unknown is scary and failure hurts. But surely my brain knows the difference between taking a financial risk, like trying to start a small business, and literally being eaten alive by a giant monster.
You would think so, but it actually doesn't.
You're kidding.
Nope. And this is the core of the evolutionary mismatch we live with today. The amygdala, which is the fear processing center of your brain, it doesn't do nuance.
It just sees a threat and reacts.
Exactly. It operates on primal pattern recognition. When you decide to do something risky, like launching a startup, asking someone out, publishing your creative work,
Wait, something vulnerable.
yeah, your amygdala perceives the potential for social rejection or failure. And to a tribal hunter-gatherer, social rejection meant being kicked out of the tribe.
Which meant starving alone in the winter.
Precisely.
Hmm.
So when you face a modern career risk, your amygdala dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream. It triggers the exact same physiological panic response as if you were staring down a 70-foot flesh-eating beast.
Okay, that actually explains so much about the physical paralysis we feel.
It really does.
And it perfectly sets up this brilliant analogy the source material builds. In the show, the society inside the walls has a faction called the military police.
Right, the ones who stay in the interior.
Exactly. Their entire job isn't to fight monsters, it's to maintain the status quo. They stay in the safest, innermost walls, and they actively assassinate anyone who gets too curious about the outside world.
Yes.
And the text argues that your brain has its own internal military police.
And how exactly does that internal police force operate? Because, I mean, it's rarely overt panic.
Right, it's insidious. It's that subtle voice whispering to you. But it doesn't sound like fear. It sounds like logic.
Oh, that's so true.
It assassinates your ambition by disguising itself as pragmatism. It
Mhm.
tells you, oh, don't go out there. The market is too crowded right now. You'll just lose money.
Or don't talk to that person. You're not in a good place emotionally for a relationship.
Exactly. Or don't upload that video. You need better lighting first. People will judge the quality.
That is a perfect description of the mechanism. The brain actively masks terror as being realistic.
And what happens?
We listen to that internal police force. We retreat. We convince ourselves that staying inside the walls is the smart, mature choice.
So we accept the mediocre job.
We stay in the passionless relationship. We settle into a life of endless digital consumption. And the profound tragedy of this is that this pragmatic life achieves exactly what the brain's ancient software wants.
It keeps us safe.
Yes, our hearts are beating, we are technically alive, but we are completely, utterly dead inside.
But, there's a massive contradiction here that we have to address.
Okay, what's that?
If our brain is so intensely hardwired to keep us safe in the cave, and this internal police force is so effective, how do you explain those sudden, random bursts of intense motivation we all get?
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Right. Let's talk about the 2-point AM visionary versus the 5-point AM surrender.
Yes. The midnight surge of dopamine and ambition.
It is a universal phenomenon.
Yeah.
You are lying in bed at 2 AM staring at the ceiling, and suddenly you get hit with this massive wave of motivation.
I feel like an absolute visionary.
You map out your entire future right there in the dark. You say to yourself, tomorrow morning, I am waking up at 5 a.m. I am going to run 5 miles, study coding for 4 hours.
Read a whole chapter of a book.
Yes, and completely reinvent myself. In that moment, you feel like you've just put on the uniform of the Survey Corps. You are ready to kick down the gates and reclaim humanity's territory.
And the reason your brain allows you to feel that incredible surge of ambition at 2 a.m.
Yeah, why does it let us do that?
Because it requires zero actual calorie expenditure.
Oh,
You are wrapped in a warm blanket. You cannot physically start running or coding in that exact second. It is completely safe, risk-free fantasy.
that's crazy.
Your brain gets to enjoy the neurochemical reward of imagining success without having to do any of the dangerous, exhausting work.
That is wildly manipulative of our own biology.
Yeah.
Because then the sun comes up.
Yeah.
It's 5:00 a.m. The alarm goes off. It's freezing outside your blanket. The room is dark. And suddenly, that burning resolve you had just 3 hours ago, it completely vanishes.
Because now the action is no longer a safe fantasy. It requires real energy. It requires friction.
So the internal police force wakes up.
Exactly. The brain's internal police force steps in and it starts negotiating like a corrupt politician.
Hey, look, you didn't sleep well tonight.
Right. If you wake up now, your productivity will suffer later. Sleep is critical for your immune system,
You're actually doing yourself a favor by staying in bed. Just hit snooze.
And so you hit the button, you roll over, you go back to sleep.
I want to ask you, the listener, a really uncomfortable question.
Hmm.
How many times have you negotiated your way out of greatness before your feet even hit the floor?
It's a tough question.
Because when you hit that snooze button, you aren't just getting 10 more minutes of sleep. You are surrendering without firing a single shot.
You are abandoning the front lines and sprinting straight back to the innermost wall. Wall Cena.
Right. Where the elite live in absolute fragile safety.
Which brings up a critical behavioral loop in our waking hours. If we are constantly retreating to that fragile safety, how do we maintain the illusion that we are okay?
This is where the source introduces a brilliant and honestly convicting metaphor. The smartphone as our personal armored titan.
Yes, the armored titan.
But explain exactly how that works, because it's not just about distraction, is it?
No, it's about neurochemical regulation. But in the modern world, we don't have literal 50-meter stone walls to retreat behind when we feel threatened during the day.
We carry our walls in our pockets.
Think about your automatic behavioral loops. Whenever life gets even slightly uncomfortable, whenever you feel a flash of loneliness while waiting in line, a moment of boredom, or the anxiety of a difficult task you need to start,
What is the very first physical action you take?
the hand automatically reaches into the pocket. It's pure muscle memory.
Pure muscle memory. You pull out the phone, you open an app, and you scroll.
Precisely. And what you are doing mechanically is intercepting your brain's threat detection system. Discomfort is supposed to be a signal that prompts you to change your environment or tackle a problem.
But instead of facing the discomfort, you inject your brain with a cheap, instantaneous shot of dopamine.
So we are basically medicating the anxiety away in real time.
Exactly. We use these digital walls to numb the friction of reality. Every time you swipe, you are rewarding your brain for avoiding a difficult task.
You are reinforcing the wall.
We use screens to ensure we never have to sit in silence and actually face the titans of our own minds.
The unresolved trauma, the unfulfilled potential.
The creeping sense of dread about where our lives are heading. We just scroll past it.
But if we are constantly doing this, if we are constantly retreating to our safe inner walls and numbing our minds with these digital dopamine loops, what breaks the cycle?
How do we ever actually change?
The source makes a profound, almost aggressive argument here. It claims that true change requires catastrophic destruction.
It's a harsh reality, but it's an idea echoed in almost every great story, every ancient philosophy, and by clinical psychologists around the world.
The text highlights a quote from one of the main characters, Armin Arlert. He says, "Someone who cannot sacrifice anything cannot change anything."
If you want a life of actual meaning, you have to be willing to sacrifice your comfort. The universe simply does not deal in free lunches.
Let's test that theory by looking at the grand narrative structure of the show. The destruction of the outermost wall Maria was a horrific tragedy. Thousands of people died.
But if that wall had never fallen, what would have happened to the main characters? What would have been the fate of Eren, Armin, and Mikasa?
They would have remained completely ordinary. They would have grown up, lived, and eventually died within those 100 miles of enclosed territory, never once knowing what lay beyond.
Eren would have likely become a bitter, complacent town guard.
Shrinking away his anger at a local tavern, constantly complaining about the way things are, but never doing anything about it.
And Armin's books about the outside world would have just rotted in a damp basement.
Wait, so are we saying that we need tragedy? Because that sounds incredibly bleak. It sounds like we are romanticizing trauma.
We aren't romanticizing trauma, but we are acknowledging a psychological phenomenon known as post-traumatic growth.
Their safety net had to be destroyed because it was the only catalyst powerful enough to force them to grow.
It dragged them out of a comfortable lie and forced them to confront the brutal truth of their world. Human beings rarely voluntarily strip away their own comfort. Often it has to be violently taken from us.
And the equivalent in real life is just as jarring. Think about the most painful moments of your life.
The catastrophic failure of a licensing exam you studied months for.
A brutal heartbreak that left you staring at the ceiling, completely shattered for weeks.
The sudden, unexpected loss of a job. A betrayal by a friend. A terrifying medical diagnosis.
In those moments, it feels like the colossal titan just kicked a hole straight through your life.
You feel entirely exposed. The predictable safety you relied on yesterday is completely gone.
But the source offers an incredible paradigm shift for those moments. It brings in a quote from the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, I love this quote.
"The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
The shift for you, the listener, is this. The Titan didn't come to destroy you. It came to destroy your illusion of safety.
That is the pivotal insight. It is only when the wall is broken that you are forced out into the wilderness.
Because comfort masks our true capacity.
It is only when the safety net is entirely stripped away that you find out who you actually are and what you are genuinely capable of.
We don't discover our resilience when things are easy. We discover it when we have absolutely no other choice but to survive.
But let's follow that thought to its ultimate conclusion. Once the wall is broken and we are forced out into this terrifying wilderness, what are we actually trying to achieve?
Right, because we aren't just fighting monsters day in and day out just to survive, are we?
No, survival isn't enough. We are fighting to reach destination.
Exactly. And in the story, the true goal for the characters was never just killing monsters. The monsters were merely the obstacle.
The real goal, the dream that kept Armin's eyes wide with wonder even when he was facing certain death, was the ocean.
The ocean.
A vast, limitless expanse of water that no king, no wall, and no military could ever pen in or control. The ocean represented absolute, unbridled freedom.
But the tragic reality of our actual world is that most people will never see their ocean.
Not because they aren't smart enough.
And not because they lack the resources or the talent. They won't see it because they are utterly terrified of the dangerous territory that lies between the wall and the shore.
They look out at the wilderness, they see the risks, they see the absolute guarantee of pain and potential failure.
And they decide that the cage they are in is good enough.
To explain why this is so detrimental, the source references Viktor Frankl.
Oh, Frankel's amazing.
He was a brilliant psychiatrist who survived the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps. And he wrote the legendary book Man's Search for Meaning.
Right. He observed firsthand what happens to the human psyche when everything is stripped away.
Yes. And later in his career, looking at modern society, Frankl coined a concept called the existential vacuum.
Break that down for us. What exactly does an existential vacuum look like in daily life?
It is a state of mind where an individual has all the physical means to live, but absolutely no profound meaning to live for.
Oh, wow.
Frankl noticed this manifested as a deep, pervasive boredom. He called it the Sunday neurosis.
The Sunday neurosis.
Yeah, it's that hollow, sinking feeling you get on a Sunday afternoon when the frantic rush of the work week stops, the distractions fade, and you are suddenly forced to realize how empty your life actually feels.
I want to direct this right at you listening, because this is the defining paradox of our generation. We have high-speed internet, we have instant food delivery to our doors.
We sleep on memory foam beds in temperature-controlled rooms.
With literally all of human knowledge and limitless entertainment resting in the palms of our hands. We undeniably possess the highest standard of living in the entire recorded history of the human race.
So why are depression, anxiety, and profound loneliness at an all-time staggering high?
Because, as the text argues, we have traded our ocean for a well-decorated cage.
By optimizing our lives entirely for comfort, convenience, and the avoidance of pain, we have fundamentally starved our souls of adventure.
We have forgotten our own nature. Human beings are not built to be sedentary consumers staring at glowing rectangles.
We are built for struggle. We are built to overcome massive obstacles.
We are built to look at a terrifying, unpredictable horizon, strap on our gear, and venture out into it anyway.
Which brings us to the ultimate choice of this deep dive. A choice aimed directly at you.
Because you don't need to imagine waking up inside Attack on Titan. You are already there.
The geography might be different, but the stakes for your life are exactly the same.
Your Titans aren't 60 feet tall. They aren't made of muscle and bone, and they aren't wandering around outside your house.
But they are pacing right outside the door of your comfort zone, and they are just as real and just as destructive to your potential.
Right. Let's name them. They are named procrastination. They are named self-doubt. They are named the fear of judgment.
They are the paralyzing perfectionism that stops you from starting. They are the addictive pull of the screen that eats away your evenings.
And every single morning when you open your eyes, you have to make a choice. It is the exact same choice the citizens of Paradise faced. You can choose to stay inside the walls.
When you are dreading that difficult email or avoiding that deeply uncomfortable conversation with your partner,
Or staring at the unopened gym bag in the corner of your room, you can pull the blanket over your head. You can hit snooze, scroll through your phone for another hour, complain about how unfair the world is, and live a life of safe, predictable stagnation.
you can let your unique potential quietly rot inside that well-decorated cage.
Or you can choose to join the Survey Corps. You can accept the reality that the world is brutal.
You can accept that failure is a mathematical guarantee if you try to do anything worthwhile.
You can accept that rejection will hurt and that the path ahead is filled with friction and suffering. But you can also decide that your curiosity is stronger than your fear.
You can decide that you would rather risk everything fighting for your own freedom than live like cattle waiting for the end.
Because your life is slipping away. Second by second, minute by minute, the clock is running down. And here is the most crucial, perspective-shifting takeaway from all of this.
What is it?
The walls around you are not protecting you from the world. They are protecting the world from you.
Oh, that's powerful.
They are locking your unique voice, your raw talents, and your power away in a safe little box where they can never disrupt the status quo. It is time to step out of the cave.
It is time to look at your comfort zone, pick up your blades, and cut it down to the ground.
There's an entire ocean waiting for you out there, but you will never see it until you choose to fight. Tatake. Fight?
And as we leave you today, I want to offer one final thought to ponder as you go about your routine.
Let's hear it.
If stepping outside your wall means facing a life of guaranteed friction, rejection, and struggle, what if the ultimate secret to a meaningful life isn't just gritting your teeth and surviving that wilderness?
Okay, what if it's not just surviving?
What if the real secret is actually learning to fall in love with the struggle itself? Because when you are ordinary, powerless, and trembling at the base of a 50-meter wall, staring up at a monster, maybe the friction of the climb is the only place you can truly feel alive.